He said he's for Scotland, but that's an argument for another day.
He's born in England.
OK, Bradford, Huddersfield, Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor, John Keir, Stuart Cummings. They are all alongside Bill Arthur.
Good afternoon, thanks Eddie, and ready to get game 2 of Sunday underway. Referee is James Child, Ben Thaler is the video ref, and it's the Huddersfield Giants who'll be kicking us off. And both these sides keen to make up for poor magic results last year. The Giants falling victims to one of the biggest upsets when they went down to Salford, and the Bulls had no answer to Leeds, and Danny Maguire. Jared Sammut nearly had no answer to that kickoff.
Well, luckily for Jared Sammut and Bradford, the ball goes backwards. But I'm looking forward to this game, in particular the battle between that man Jared Sammut and Danny Brough. Both headline grabbers for both sides, and in 2010 Jared Sammut made his debut for the Crusaders against Bradford, and he's playing against Danny Brough, who in my opinion is one of the most influential players in Super League.
A kick from Addy, but it's blocked by the Giants. Keith Lalia quickly though in on McGilvray. Here is Cudjoe. Well, there is Adrian Patel, and what a return it is to the Etihad for him. To think last year he left this stadium and ended up at Huddersfield Royal Infirmary, having suffered a heart attack on the Bulls team bus on the way back home. It really was a dramatic phase of his life, but he's come through that, and remarkably he is back in action for the Bulls, has been back in action for the Bulls, and has featured in the last 11 games, and real testament to his strength of character as well as his physical strength. But he and the Bradford Bulls are defending at the moment as Brough hoists that ball, and it's towards Patel's wing. McGilvray closing in on him, but Adrian Patel claims that ball.
There was a little collision in the background there. Keith Lalia. It was Cudjoe, possibly Cudjoe. No, it's not. Jermaine McGilvray, they just collided. Nothing sinister about that. One of the interesting facets to this game is, you know, some of the questions that you start to ask when you look at the units that are playing for Huddersfield is, how do we match them in the middle? Well, it's quite simple. Jamie Langley, the number 13, playing for Bradford, he's a loose forward by trade. You've got Tom Alderson, Elliot Whitehead, Chev Walker, all spent time in the backs, so mobility and agility will be the order of the day for Bradford.
And he gets his kick away this time, and it's a good wide one, but across comes McGilvray to claim that ball and heads infield, tackled just outside his own 20. Jared Sammut leading the chase. And it's good defence from the Bulls, quickly up. Langley, Bulls' longest serving player these days, involved in the tackle. 3 tackles gone. On the halfway line, Sean Lunt. Brough now. Robinson. Lunt and Robinson will kick, just dinks it over the top. It's a good kick as well from Luke Robinson, and Jamie Foster restored to this Bradford Bull side is trapped. There's nowhere for Foster to go, but they were offside, the chasers.
Well, that was a tremendous set coming out of yardage there by the Giants. Moved the ball, asked plenty of questions, finished with a good kick, but it could have been spoiled there with a bit of ill discipline there, just wandering offside. Well, look, weren't there when the ball's kicked. They certainly looked to be onside to me. And Luke Robinson,
it's the player that's come from the inside. There was one player that just pushed the ball.
It was Sean Lunt. It was Sean Lunt who was offside.
Yeah, who passed the ball. It's a shame, really, because it was a very, very good set indeed. And perhaps Luke Robinson will get a flea in his ear from coach Paul Anderson for not following his own kick.
Well, here is Nick Scruton. He's been ever present in Super League this season for the Bulls, having had some real rough injury luck, Scruton, so it's good to see him getting some consistent games under his belt. Keith Lalia now, hard to put down the Cook Islander. Foster finds Sammut. Samet for Langley, and Lamley driving that one in towards the posts. Huddersfield back on their own try line now. They thought they got the Bulls trapped in their own in-goal area. Instead, it's the kick towards the Giants' in-goal area, and they concede the goal line dropout. Fortunes have turned.
It's good play, this, from Bradford and Jared Samet. You can see he just thinks the ball in between Chan and Luke Robinson. It's a clever little kick. They need to play the game up here. They need to play the game with lots of energy. What Jared Samet needs is players running around him, a lot of movement, giving him options at the line. And Francis Cummins knows that this is going to be a very tough encounter. And for him to win this game, they need that man on top of his game.
Well, I think the Bulls today have really started off very well. They've been very physical in defence. They've had good line speed, good collision. And obviously they've bought a bit of field position there with a very clever kick.
Penultimate game of this Magic Weekend sees Bradford and Huddersfield facing each other for the first time at Magic Weekend, and that is a heck of a goal line dropout from Brough, and his teammates applauding him.
There's a lack of communication between Kieran Patel and Jared Samet, both of them looking at each other. Are you catching it on the full or am I? But Danny Brough, such an accurate passer of the ball, so fast, so determined. There you see the ball, and I think we said it a number of times yesterday, don't let the ball bounce, it'll make a fool of you. And Kieran Patel,
The other one as
Adrian Patel.
The other one as well, Barry, is the fact that that's a 60-metre dropout. That, I mean, so if you pen the Giants and you get a repeat set with the Giants, you know full well you're going to be catching the ball around about the halfway or in your own half with Danny Brough drop kicking out.
Well, here is Brough and Robinson now, and Griggs takes the tackle. It's Alberson round the top and Samet down low. Scruton in that time to make the tackle on the 20-metre line. On Cudjoe. Robinson, busy player. Brough, busy player. It's a busy Huddersfield Giants side, and Chan now is held, says the referee. Lunt, he's in great form at the moment. So is Brett Ferris. On the last, a little dink. Oh, and it's rebounded for Crabtree. Crabtree kicks. It was play on, says the referee, or still on the last, rather, says referee James Child. The Bulls didn't play at it.
That's why prop forwards don't kick, Bill. The big fella, Earl Crabtree, just hits in the face. Heath Lestrange, and the rebound was caught by Earl Crabtree. He thought, I'll have a crack at it. Can't be that hard.
Here's Patel. So the Bulls survive that onslaught by the Huddersfield Giants, and Scruton trying to work his way through, but he's got Earl Crabtree, his opposite number, literally, to stop him, and then the kick over the top. It was Murphy who returned it. Brough. Here is Griggs in the centre circle here at the Etihad. Chan change of direction, then straight up the middle from Jason Chan, and Chan looks for support. Nobody there yet. He doesn't need any at the moment, and he's still going, Jason Chan, up to the 10-metre line. He's lost the ball. It was stripped in the tackle, says the referee. Penalty to the Giants.
Well, it's Danny Addy who's trying to control Jason Ram, but what about this for a run? It was a huge effort from the back rower. Quick tap now. And it's another penalty, Bill.
So back penalties conceded by the Bulls. That time Ikumataya was robbed of the ball. Gilvray, I think.
Well, you give penalties away when you feel that you're under pressure. And there was the strip. And James Child felt that that was a penalty and he's awarded it. And there's a problem now with Ikumataya. He's down receiving treatment.
Well, there was just a feeling in that back play. Look at the ball movement. Look at the accuracy of these passes. And Chan, as he's done many times, comes back up the guts to see if he can find a lazy defender. Just brushes Jamie Foster out of the way. A wonderful player.
So back-to-back penalties. And they're in for the try with Dale Ferguson. And the Bulls pay the price for their indiscipline. And Dale Ferguson gets his second try of this Super League campaign, and Paul Anderson leans back in his seat, a quiet look of satisfaction on his face, because they took full advantage of those back-to-back penalties.
Well, Francis Cummins will not be happy with the defence. After the break in play, you shouldn't be conceding a try like that. Dale Ferguson, the ball goes wide, he steps off his right foot, a little turn-up play, a short pass, and that is very poor try-line defence. You can see that they were already set. There's no reason for players jumping out to the line. And he'll be very disappointed, Tom Albertson, when he watches this game back again and sees his effort on Dale Ferguson.
Brough will try and add the extras. Ferguson has scored 1 for Hull Kingston Rovers this season while he was on loan. That's his first for the Giants this season. And Brough, that's his 65th successful goal kick for the Huddersfield Giants, and he's put them 6-0 up here at the Etihad. Dale Ferguson's on a roll, having been on loan for Hull Kingston Rovers, back in the Giants side. Gets the first try of this one, and Bradford Bulls will be kicking themselves.
Yeah, he's got very good footwork as Dale Ferguson. Late at the line, and there was good shape. But I'm with Terry, really. Tom Albertson was very disappointed there. It was a one-on-one miss. Ferguson's footwork really did the business, and he's got the 6 points for the Giants.
John Keir will know him well, because he was a player under you at Wakefield, wasn't he, John?
There's 1 or 2 out there who left at Wakefield.
You're taking credit for them all, are you, John?
Correct.
Here is Akuma Tai, the former New Zealand Warrior. It's funny, when he arrived, Paul Anderson said he was big as a Christmas turkey, and wasn't particularly flattering about him, but he's been on a pretty strong conditioning program and has come out of it looking a very lean and fierce player. That ball's been stripped, and Addy has picked it up.
Well, Earl Crabtree, trying to run hard and strong, had a loose carry, and it was ripped by the versatile Danny Addy, who chewed up 10 metres. There you go. Was there 2 in the tackle, Stuart?
I think the ball's just come out, to be honest. I think it's a loose carry, even though there are 2 there. He got rid of one tackler and ran straight into another. I think he's just lost it on contact.
Here is Samet now, a little step from Samet, trying to weave his way through. He's lost the ball. Jared Samet so close to unlocking the Giants' defence. He got a hat-trick against them in March in a 43-18 win, which is a real sore point for this Huddersfield side.
Well, this is just a little reminder to the big men who are defending in the middle of the park. When he goes at the line, he's always looking for that lazy defender on the inside. If you don't come across, he's going to step you, and he's got speed to burn. So that's just a little reminder for the big Huddersfield pack.
And that's great work from Earl Crabtree. He was the player that made that mistake, loose carry, inadvertently perhaps touches that ball, but great work, great effort from the big man.
Good view from ref cam of what it's like in the thick of it. Jared Samet really is going through the range of looks. We've had the Jack Sparrow. We're now on, I think, Grizzly Adams at the moment. Frontiers man.
Well, this will be
Penalty.
disappointing. This is disappointing. They do all the good work. They control Jermaine McGilvray on tackle 1, and it's just this little push trying to buy an extra bit of time, and James Child is not standing for any of that. And they now retreat just 20 metres from their own line.
Again, look at the kick of that, Terry. I mean, it's a phenomenal kick, isn't it? And it's just cheap yards you're getting. When you get a penalty, if you can put the ball 40 yards up the sideline, it's a heck of a side easier than the big fellas having to earn you the territory.
Crabtree uprooted by the Giants' defence there, but here is Chan once more. And the ball's backpedaling. Go down the short side, little chip kick over the top from Robinson. The ball is batted back, and Cudjoe has set up the try for Griggs. And great work. Synchronised try scoring from the Huddersfield Giants there. Robinson chip over the top, Cudjoe bats it back, Griggs dots it down. Another try for Huddersfield. And it's Griggs with 6 for the season.
Well, just watch what Luke Robinson does. He comes out from the other side of the play the ball. The defenders haven't accounted for him. And when he puts that, there you go, late movement, comes round, a mismatch in numbers. And of course, that's a competition. Leroy Cudjoe goes over Patel, hooks the ball back, and Griggs just simply has to dab the ball down. Fabulous work from Huddersfield. And we did talk about the power versus the agility and mobility. The power is winning at the minute.
Scott Griggs got a magic weekend hat-trick for Wakefield at Cardiff in 2009 against the Castleford Tigers. Here he is on the score sheet for the Huddersfield Giants, and that really was a well-worked try. Now Danny Brough, difficult conversion from wide out, but no difficulty for Brough. And the Giants doing what they have done for most of this season, looking a very, very strong prospect. They lead 12-0 here at the Etihad.
That was an outstanding kick, that, from Luke Robinson. And then with you, Barry, Luke Robinson hides behind where the play of the ball is. He comes round on the short side and executes a pin-perfect kick to set that try up. 2 players against 1, and you've got to say that Adrian Patel had no chance there, the way that the Huddersfield attackers were running onto that ball.
Crabtree from the restart, and it's looking ominous for Bradford Bulls at the moment. They just can't get their hands on the ball. They really are struggling to contain this Huddersfield Giants side.
You're right, Bill. Just 14 minutes to go, 12 points up. Huddersfield playing on the front foot. The forwards are starting to dominate. And when you've got Luke Robinson playing at the back and you've got Danny Brough, that's very dangerous signs.
The Giants have had 75% of the possession so far in this first half. And if you haven't got the ball, there's not a lot you can do.
Well, you can't score the tries, can you?
Brough hoists that one, not one of his best. Cudjoe is underneath it. He's wrapped up by Keith Lulia. That'll be the turnover, and Huddersfield will get their hands on the ball.
He'll be very disappointed with that, Danny Brough, because it was a something nothing kick, wasn't it? He didn't buy territory, and it wasn't really a challenge because it was just too easy for the Bulls to take that, and see with the reaction, not happy with the outcome.
He's such a competitor, isn't he, Danny Brough? Everything is, I've got to win this, I've got to be in the fight, I've got to be in the tussle, and that rubs off on his teammates. Sometimes it overboils and overspills, and 1 or 2 referees have to have a word in his ear, but he's one of the best players running around in Super League at the minute.
Patel is the man tackled for the Bradford Bulls. Here's Addy, now here's Scruton. That's the 5th tackle. They're about 20 metres out as Addy chips that one over the top, and Aaron Murphy is under a little bit of pressure. The ball has come up for Bradford. For Elliot Keir, perhaps. For James Child wants a video ref, Ben Thaler, just to take a look at this. Murphy was the Giants player underneath it, but Keir might have beaten him to the ball and got it down.
Well, again, the decision's from a kick, so we have to check to see whether he's onside. And then it's just the challenge in the air on this one. Both players look to be contesting the ball on that, so don't see a problem with
Stuart,
that.
I'm with you. When that ball goes up in the air, that's a contest. Everybody's onside. It's a clever kick from Danny Addy. We talked about what Luke Robinson did at the other end for Huddersfield. This is exactly the same kick to more or less the same point. When the ball goes up here from Addy, Elliot Keir is the man who stood on the wing. He's just focusing on catching that ball. He goes up in the air. No problem with that, Stuart.
Well, the only one I'm looking at now is Jamie Langley was actually in front, and he's got himself all the way or within the 10 of the people catching it. And if that's the case, this should be no try.
Well, this will be a body blow for the Bradford Bulls. They are gobsmacked by that. Foster was ready to tee it up for the conversion. Francis Cummins looks pretty nonplussed by that, but just talk us through this, Stuart.
Well, again, Langley is in front on the left-hand side, and he's got himself within 10 metres of the catcher, and it doesn't matter whether he interferes with the catcher or not. If he's within that 10 metres, then it is offside and the penalty has to be given.
To the letter of the law, it is correct, but
I think it's a desperate shame for Bradford. He's played no part in that whatsoever, other than being a cheerleader at the back, applauding his teammate.
But Barry, he's got to realise where he is, and if he's offside, he's got to pull up short.
And that's a Bulls try denied then, because Elliot Keir had done everything right. He was okay. He was onside?
He was onside. It was Jamie Langley who was probably half a metre in front, and if he'd had taken a step back or just stayed out, that try would have stood.
And the Bulls desperately needed that. They really did need a way back into this game. As it is, they still trail by 12 points to 0. And how ironic it would be if Huddersfield went up the other end and scored, because Murphy is in possession, comes back in field, is tackled by Keir. Robinson checks, then finds Dale Ferguson, scorer of one of these 2 Giants tries so far, but Ferguson has lost the ball on that occasion.
Well, that's the correct decision. He's looking to offload the ball. See the Huddersfield teammates coming in, just gets his arm free. And there's a little bit of a knock from, was it Jared Samet from behind, but it was a loose carry. But that's the danger, isn't it? That's the danger of Huddersfield. They've come from one end of the pitch to the other. There's a little arm coming down from Alberson, just dislodges that ball. But it's Dale Ferguson who needs to control that ball. Otherwise, it results in a scrum, and obviously Bradford have the ball here.
Jamie Langley was down a short time ago. In fact, Langley needing a change of shirts and a bit of blood treatment. Play will continue while Langley gets the new kit on. Head and feed to the Bradford Bulls. Almost made a mess of that. Now they've got to work their way out of trouble. Langley is back on the field. The Bulls are up to a full complement. And here comes Elliot Keir. So disappointed, the Welsh international, to be denied that try.
Well, that's a great view for all the people sat at home watching. That's what players are faced with on every single play. You've got to look up and you've got to try and break down the defence. And there's not many gaps across that line.
Certainly the Bradford Bulls haven't managed to find any. They thought they had done, but unfortunately for them, this man Jamie Langley was in an offside position. That's the 5th tackle on this set of 6 for the Bradford Bulls, and Danny Addy. There's no Luke Gale for the Bulls today, hence Addy in that half-back position, which he has filled before. In fact, he was there for the Bulls in their win at Salford last week. And Samet, who's playing alongside him today. Brett Carney, another man missing. And he is a big miss. He's been in great form this season, Brett Carney, but no Carney. They do have Foster back.
But Tess talked about the quality of the kick from Danny Addy. He's probably the most valuable player to the Bradford club. Plays at 6'7", 9 and 13. Has a lot of responsibility, as does Jamie Foster, playing in the full-back role today.
That was Foster. There he is, number 17, and Purtell will play the ball. Now Keith Lulia. He's been ever present for 34 consecutive games now, the Cook Island centre. That was, well, until March, when he was injured against the Catalan Dragons. Now here's Heath Lestrange. Blythe. Just on halfway. Bulls really struggling to find a way through this Giants defence. So Samet hammers that one downfield and says, well, have a go from your own 20.
I think that was Carlos Tevez. I think he's going for goal there, because I couldn't see the rationale at all in that kick. It's just back. And it's over the goal area. It is a kick from only 40 metres out. And the tap's on the 20. It's not really a big reward, and rightly so.
Kumatai is the man tackle for the Giants. And here is Lan Patrick, a real busy, buzzing player coming off the bench for the Huddersfield Giants. Robinson, short ball from Robinson's finds Jason Chan. He's tackled on the halfway line. Robinson again. Oh, the ball is batted down by Samet, and Samet, well, here he is, Carlos Tevez. It's Tevez in a race against McGilvray, and it's the Giants winger who wins that one.
Well, there's a nice little touch from Jared Samet, but Jermaine McGilvray did ever so well to get back. Brett Ferris with the offload to Big Earl Crabtree, just looking for that miracle play to score a try. Was that a better touch, John?
It was, yeah, a lot better touch that, but it didn't count on the pace of McGilvray. And I'll tell you what, the transition for the Giants from defence to attack's very impressive there, although obviously we've had Luke Robinson come with a knock-on. Or was it a forward pass? Nevertheless, it's a knock-on, lost the ball in the tackle, so it'll be Bradford's head and feed, but a little complicated play there between Robinson and Griggs, again trying to hide the man going to receive the ball, Griggs, and then toe poke through from Samet for McGilvray. Really did show some pace there to recover the situation for the Giants.
Good tackle from Langley, though, to stop Luke Robinson and win possession for the Bradford Bulls, just inside their opponent's half. They trail by 12 points to nil. They've steadied the ship a little bit, the Bulls, because Huddersfield were really on a roll, and they're coming forward now, Bradford, with Tom Olberson. And Olberson, 20 metres out, plays the ball. Here is the skipper, Lestrange. Lestrange to Addy. Foster quickly on. Blythe tried to bat it on to his wingman Keir, but instead bats it into the hands of the Huddersfield Giants, and the opportunity goes begging for the Bulls.
Well, that was a very good read in defence from Aaron Murphy, because he shot off his line from the wing and put an awful lot of pressure on Matty Blythe, who was having a little lot more intent on what he was doing. Good run from Lunt.
Lunt has broken. Griggs is in support. Lunt won't need him. Sean Lunt could go all the way here. The cover is over, and just does enough. The tackle just to deny Sean Lunt, but is it just delaying the inevitable? They're over the line, but Bradford have salvaged the situation there. Ferris, I think, denied on the try line. Lunt denied just before.
Bill, it's easy watching the game from up here. The little pump there from Sean Lunt was just enough to get the marker interested. Just have a little look at Scott Griggs inside. All he had to do was get the ball to him.
Instead, they've got the ball to Lon Patrick, and they will score. Even nearer the post than Sean Lunt might have done. And Bradford were really chasing shadows there. And Huddersfield extend their lead. Lon Patrick, just off the bench, gets his 4th try of the season. And the coach demands more from his side.
Well, you could see what Paul Anderson was saying there with his hand gestures. Straight forward. This was a great run. You need options, and when you go at the line, you need people inside and out. Again, some real poor defence from Bradford, and just gives up that cheap field position. I love watching this lad play. He's just, every time he carries the ball, he's like being shot out of a cannon, and that's what it means to the young prop forward.
Technically, he's listed in the squad as a prop, but he runs like a centre, even a winger at times.
Do you know what? He's not got the footwork of a centre or a winger. What he does, he runs as hard as he can. Every time he gets that ball, he makes people just come up to him and then bounce on the floor. A bit like you, John, when you played, eh?
I'll settle for that, Terry.
He got 2 tries against Widnes in the 36-22 win last time out, did Lon Patrick. He's got another one close to the post, which gives Brough the conversion formality. And Huddersfield lead 18-0. It could have been such a different story if that Bulls try had stood, but as it happens, it was Lunt who went upfield, and then this unfolded.
Well, Sean Lunt, when he played at Leeds, a lot of the Leeds players said his unselfish way of playing often reflected and gave people around him more chances, more opportunities, and Lon Patrick was the recipient on that one. But when he made his break, kept his cool, kept his composure, and was happy with the field position.
This Etihad Stadium pitch just showing the scars of the games played so far, but it stood up pretty well to the punishment. His Francis Cummins' Bulls side aren't standing up to the punishment too well at the moment, trailing by 18 points to 0.
You're right, Bill. They need to be more clinical. When they have the ball, they need to do things with it. There's no problem with them going forward with the likes of Jamie Langley and Nick Struton. What they've got to do is ask more questions when they get near to Huddersfield line.
Kick charge down, but Robinson manages to retrieve it for the Giants. Lulia trying to wrestle it off him. Bradford 7th in the table going into this game, looking to clinch a playoff place for the first time since 2008. Samet did well there.
He was on his own though, Bill. That's the important thing. Jared Samet, the only person putting kick pressure on. When Luke Robinson picked that ball up, Keith Lulia picked him up like a bag of shopping, put him back down on the floor.
Ferris over the 40-metre line. It's the 5th tackle, and Brough will hoist this one towards Purtell's wing, and Cudjoe is arriving. The ball's bounced down. It's going to come up for Chan. It's gone backwards, says the referee, and that'll be the turnover, because then subsequently there was a knock-on by the Giants man, so the Bulls will get it back.
What a great kick that was, wasn't it? Spiraling, but look where it's landed. It's just landed in the field of play, and there's all sorts of problems for the Bulls defenders with the challenges from the Giants. And although they didn't come up with any points that time, it's certainly a strategy worth keeping going, because if the ball goes as high as that, it's going to take some catching.
It's causing them problems, the kicking of Danny Brough, but it has for so many sides this season.
He's okay. He's okay.
And in Bradford, really struggling to make any inroads into this Giants defence. Here is Langley. That's the halfway line. It's the 5th tackle. Addy kicks towards that wing, and Grix is across to field it for the Giants.
John, you're obviously a coach. What sort of message would you try to be sending on to Bradford if you were the coach now?
Well, the Bulls really have just got to hang in there, to tell you the truth. I think there's 10 minutes to half-time, and it's a matter of continuing playing set-for-set arm wrestle rugby, but looking for a bit more field position as well, because the Giants tend to be receiving the ball around about 20 metres and clearing it easily. And when you've got a bloke like Danny Brough, look what he's done again with that kick. And the field position battle is being won comprehensively by the Giants, and that's what the Bulls have got to try to turn on its head.
Well, that's it, Brough's kick. Foster running it back was met by that wall of Giants defenders, and it was attacking defence, wasn't it?
Bill, and that comes down to attitude. That's the second time in 3 sets that Danny Brough has chosen to kick the ball on the 3rd tackle. They mean business defensively.
Well, they mean to make amends for that defeat they suffered by the Bulls in March, that 43-18 defeat by Bradford, which hurt Huddersfield. Not many teams have this season. That's why they're 2nd in the table. Diskin is on to try and galvanise this Bradford side. Now here's Purtell across the field. And Ben Evans, this really a brilliant prop who's on loan from the Warrington Wolves. We saw him score a great try, in fact, on Sky for Bradford against the Leeds Rhinos. And Grix comes up with the error.
Now that's just what we were talking about. We said, what do? You stay in the arm wrestle, you stay set for set, you try and get some territory. And if you have to rely on an opposition mistake, you've got to capitalise upon it, and that's what Scott Grix did. It was a difficult kick to catch from Danny Addy. Grix has spilled it, a great opportunity for the Bulls now, but the need to come up with something, whether it's simply a repeat set or better for the Bulls, points.
Well, here's an interesting one for you. Jacob Furbank, wearing the number 28 for the Bradford Bulls, has just entered the field. He's on loan from Huddersfield Giants. There'll be extra fire in his chimney against his parent club.
Foster, here is Samet now. Samet for Purtell. And Purtell is in danger of heading to the sidelines, but gets the ball away. He was held, says the referee. James Child says play the ball to Adrian Purtell. Here is Addy. Fairbank now. Only about 8 metres out are the balls. This is the best opportunity they've had really since Whitehead's try was disallowed. And they're in the corner, are they? No, that's great defence to deny. Keir again. Elliot Keir seemed to have the opportunity to get in the corner, but Aaron Murphy, his opposite number, did a great job.
You know, you've got to credit what Paul Anderson's men are doing at the minute. The communication in defence. They come up, Aaron Murphy, you can see that he's not phased at all from what Elliot Keir's doing. He shows him the outside. He uses the touchline like an extra man because he knows that if he steps off his left foot and heads that way, he's only going one way. They've only missed one tackle in the opening 31 minutes. That's how good they've been defending Huddersfield.
It's not just tackle misses though, Ted. They're really well structured as well. They're square all the time. There's nobody coming out of the line. They're working hard for each other. It really is an excellent defensive display from the Giants as well as offensive display.
Akuma Tai had the Giant supporters rising there with the threat of a run. Instead, the ball comes back in field. Just looked like a pretty mean-looking character, Akuma Tai. He's trimmed down and looks in shape for the rest of this Super League season.
And his coach called him a Turk.
I'll tell you what he looks like.
Paul Anderson could get away with saying that, couldn't he?
I'll tell you what he looks like. He looks like a brick wall, like the rest of the Huddersfield forwards. That size and that power proving just a little bit too much now. Ben Evans trying to buy an extra fraction of a second, leaves his hand on the ball. And the 20-year-old forward on loan from Warrington, as you said, has cost his side. Look at the accuracy of that kick again.
And they'll tap on the ball's 10-metre line and threaten to score more points here, will Huddersfield, because they've threatened virtually every time they've got near the Bradford Bulls try line, as they have now, and it's with Patrick again, rumbling onto that ball. This time, the Bulls managed to halt his progress. Brad Dwyer is on there. Robinson, here is Akuma Tai, toying with the Bulls defenders, and Akuma Tai, he takes some stopping. Plays the ball. Here is Dwyer, and Dwyer for the line. He's held up.
He's a quick-thinking player, young Brad Dwyer. We've seen him play for Warrington in Super League. He's gone to Huddersfield to try and get more opportunities of first-team rugby. We'll see that again before the end of the game.
Dink over the top from Brough. Instead, it's Fairbank who picks it up and brings it away for the Bradford Bulls. Relief for Bradford there.
There just wasn't enough distance on that, and this is what Bradford need. They need some breakout players. Who's going to come up with that magical little effort that's going to get him in the right field position, score a try? Here's the kick. Just doesn't get the distance. You can see that Luke Robinson had run through the line, thinking that the kick was going to be a touch deeper.
That's a relief for Bradford. Unusual for a Huddersfield kick not to cause problems. They're a really good kick inside of the Giants. Here is Addy, here is Evans. Evans stopped by Jamie Cording on the field for the Giants. Now Samet, chip kick over the top, but runs into a Giants defender. It was Dwyer, I think, who was in his path, and McGilvray is able to gather the ball, but now Bradford will look for the mistake. They trail 18-0 here.
Well, 5 minutes to go now in the first half. Sometimes this is very dangerous for certain teams within the competition, where they just switch off for the play, yet they'll concede a try or maybe even two. Bradford need to make sure that they're focused for the last 5 minutes of this half if they want to win this game.
This Etihad Stadium filling up for the concluding game in this magic weekend as Wigan take on Leeds. As you'd expect, big support for these two sides who'll be taking the field very shortly. 7:30 for HD here on Sky Sports for that Leeds-Wigan game kickoff. And here is Foster.
Again, Bill, look at that. Where does the ball go? It goes straight into the corner. As soon as he gets that ball, there's nowhere to go.
Leeds players in the ground and watching as Bradford try and find a way back into this game. At the moment, they trail by 18 points to 0 to the sideline, second in the table, behind Wigan Warriors. Here is Elliot Keir, try disallowed for him in this first half.
Bradford just looking a little bit one out at the minute. You watch the player taking the ball up. There's nobody pushing in outside him. Huddersfield then going a little bit too high. Dale Ferguson just clips Donaldson just around the jawline. But Francis Cummins may well get the message on. Push up with the bloke that's carrying the ball. Don't leave him on his own.
The difficulty they've had, though, Barry, is all the time it's like picking the balls out of the snooker pocket, isn't it? They're having to retreat right to their own corner to bring it away. But that penalty will really be helpful to the Bulls. And again, it's good field position. They haven't had many opportunities like this, and at some stage they're going to have to start taking them.
Luke Robinson picked up a knock in that tackle. He's okay. Had a bit of treatment. And Bradford with an opportunity before half-time, maybe to try and find a way through this Giants defence. Here is Danny Addy now. They're going to give it a little bit of width. Blythe is tackled just a few yards short. Addy once more.
That's good defence.
They've lost ground of the Bulls. Here is Samet now. Samet shows it once. Takes him on himself, Jared Samet, and almost wriggles his way over the try line. But it's on the last. Diskin. Addy. Short pass from Addy. And Olverson is wrapped up, and that'll be the turnover. Good defence from the Giants.
Tremendous defence. What structure from the Huddersfield Giants. Nobody jumping out. Nobody trying to jump through the line and fix something that's not their problem. Paul Anderson's done a fabulous job in organising them whenever they feel like they're in stress, or whenever as fans we're watching thinking this might be a stressful situation for Huddersfield. They're in complete communication. Everybody knows and understands their role and fulfills the job.
They certainly have done in this first 40 minutes.
You've got to agree with Barry there. It's been a real controlled performance. I think they've been controlled with the kicking game, controlled in defence. That's one of the slips that they've had that's, again, giving some field position away. Brad Dwyer there jumping out from dummy half, and forward pass there. Really soft header there. Just needed to be executed better.
The line of Cordin probably forced that a little bit.
No, I think it's actually when Dwyer passes the ball, it gives the impression that it was forward, because he runs behind Cordin as soon as he releases it.
Tight call, Stuart.
Well, it's very, very flat, and it's the touchage on the far side that's called that one, and he was in line with it, but it was very, very flat, that pass.
So you're saying it was okay?
I would have played on.
Thank you.
Well, it gives Bradford possession. 90 seconds coming up in this first half. Bradford trailing 18-0. They'd love to get some points on the board just before half-time, just to give themselves a bit of hope, give themselves a lift. But here is Olverson. Again, the black-shirted Giants players flocking towards him to make the tackle. Addy. 4 tackles gone, this set of 6. Diskin. Here is Evans. Addy. Foster's put the ball down, and he was really under pressure there, Jamie Foster. And that ball went forward.
Free play though, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a free play from the knock-on by Foster.
It's Danny Brough who gets up and puts his face into the eye line of Jamie Foster. He can't catch that ball because he feels the breath of Danny Brough on the back of his neck. And there's that free play. I love to watch Ferris play. I love to see him hold that ball out in one hand, and he's a master at getting it round players and putting his teammates through gaps, and that's that push-through support that I'm trying to get everybody to look at. I'm trying to emphasise Huddersfield have got it, and Bradford haven't.
So it's Huddersfield's head and feed. Clock counting down towards half-time here, and a satisfactory first half it'll be for the Huddersfield Giants. Just that Elliot Keir no try for the Bradford Bulls. It was Cudjoe who had a hand in literally in one of those tries as he batted the ball back for Grix.
You can hear the hits from up here. The amount that Bradford are putting into some of the big men, when they know that if it's going to be straight one-up carries, they're getting off the line and they're trying to belt them.
Dwyer, that was flat pass again, and that's half-time. Mark Patrick has possession, and Danny Brough has had a big part to play in a dominant Huddersfield Giants first-half performance, looking to make amends for the heavy defeat they suffered at the hands of the Bulls in March. Well, they've certainly got the Bulls on the run here. Tries from Ferguson, Griggs and Patrick, and Danny Brough laying the law down. They mean business, this Huddersfield Giants side. They walk menacingly from the pitch here at the Etihad Stadium. More to come from the Giants in the second half. The Bradford Bulls really struggling to find a way into this game. The Giants in control and leading 18-0 at the break.